Whoop. Ugh. Alright. Who's next?
Beep. Died.
Oh, you want to play like that? Huh?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I don't sing. Oh hey, I should do a video on rhythm games! I'll do it tomorrow. Hello and welcome to YuxaVS. This is the first episode of this sort of series where instead of talking about 4 to 5 games, I talk about 2. And like a pair of Hot Wheels, I'm going to pit these 2 against each other until one of them burns in a blaze of shame. Also, oh my god, why are the Hot Wheels on fire? So yeah, YuxaVS. I'll do these periodically to spice things up, and what's a more algorithmically pleasing combination to start with than a new and popular game versus a 20-year-old classic? What, you don't think that's fair? Yeah, it's understandable. But unfortunately for you, this isn't a fair world. This is mainly for entertainment purposes, so expect bias and general shenanigans. YuxaVS will rank games based on multiple factors: gameplay, story, style, music, and any other factors, but not particularly in this order. We'll start with the least important, story, and end with the most important, music. Without further ado, let's start with... Parappa 2 has a strange premise. You're this dog boy, dog man? Whereas in the first game, you're trying to get the girl, Flower. Where was this game made again? Oh, yeah, that makes more sense now. Point is, you've gotten the girl before this game, and now it's about Parappa winning a lifetime supply of noodles, only for him to get sick of noodles. This logically leads to an all-out war between noodles and sweets, with the only thing stopping the complete annihilation of society is your funky, fresh, rapping flow, yo. It's very childish, very Japanese, and an enjoyable time all around. Moving on to Friday Night Funkin's story. You want to have some alone time with your girlfriend, and the universe says no and puts an obscene amount of roadblocks in the way. At that point, just give up, man. I'm sure there's more lore, and I'm sure a certain theory channel will milk it dry, but that's all I could gather. Alright, well I guess there's more, since the girlfriend's parents are demons, and she might be one too, and the cutscene in week 7 implies something, but that's a job for a theorist with no life, not a machine who is under house arrest for murdering a bunch of people last month. Okay. Not much comparison has to be made here. One has plot and the other has implications. That means the ancient hobbling PS2 game gets the first point. Time for the completely subjective point of style. Both games use two-dimensional characters, but in very different ways. Starting with Friday Night Funkin' this time, Friday Night Funkin' uses a very flash game-like style. This choice makes sense, since not only is this game a love letter to Newgrounds, it helps characters like Pico and Tankman not stand out when placed next to the wholly original characters. The animations and general aesthetic of the game involves these thick, chunky lines with exaggerated angles to really sell that 1990s PS1 aesthetic that the game clearly loves. Judging by the fact that, a PS1 release of the game is actually a Kickstarter award, and as a PS1 myself, I respect the hustle. Parappa 2 has the same general aesthetic as the first game, but we're still going to talk about it. All of the characters, as the name would imply, are paper thin, folding and twisting to convey movement. This looks strange and a bit funky, but also makes for some of the most unique visual presentation choices that I've seen on the PS2. It looks a bit stupid though, when the characters are holding 3D objects. It's kind of like if I was to just suddenly hold a 4K image of a peanut. But overall, it's a very fun and whimsical presentation style. While Parappa 2 has an interesting visual presentation, it admittedly hasn't aged the greatest. So the second point goes to F and F. This is where I have a lot to say about one game and nothing to say about the other. To start, both games obviously have the same base functions. Both are rhythm games, with Friday Night Funkin' containing 4 inputs, up, down, left, right, and Parappa containing 6. X, circle, triangle, square, L1, and R1. The inputs isn't what makes the two games different, however. It's how they add to the base frame of a rhythm game. FNF adds... yeah. And that's where Parappa 2 blows this game out of the water. See, Friday Night Funkin' is rigid. You either hit a note, or you don't. Parappa 2 has freestyling. What does that mean? Well, if you start doing bad, the game actually bumps you down difficulty levels. And if you start doing good, oh dear lord, what the f... Yep. Cool mode. But how do you get there? Cool mode isn't a reward for doing everything as exactly intended. This can only be accessed by freestyling. Freestyling turns rhythm games on their head, because now if you make a mistake, you can compensate. While you're still very much supposed to follow the instructor, you're able to throw in your own funky, fresh style. In other words, the game gives you a way to save yourself if you're doing bad. That's another point to the funny rap dog. We're 3 out of 5 categories now, and Parappa leads by a single point. See, if I was sponsored, this would be the part where I go ad time and advertise something. Or if I was a bigger YouTuber, I'd put a piece of fan art here and go, hey guys, look at the cool drawing from the cool person. But I only have 100 or so subscribers. And that's where you come in! Hit that absolutely minuscule bell. I can barely manage an upload per month, and I promise I won't hit your feed too often. Friday Night Funkin', according to my very cool music friend, is the equivalent of
tripping over a keyboard.
And admittedly, I do have to agree with him. But at the same time, damn, these are the best trips I've heard since... Friday Night Funkin's music hits hard and fast, with almost every song containing enough energy to make Chernobyl look like a battery leak. And that last point was, of course, sarcasm, because if that was the case, we'd be living in the apocalypse right now. Generally speaking, the music is bland and inoffensive enough for the melodies to get immediately jammed into your long-term memory. You'll find yourself in the kitchen, humming the tunes. But yeah, the music of FNF is very machine-sounding, a result of the fact that the characters, seldom for this creature, speak in a language referred to only as fire alarm. That isn't an exaggeration. Some of these set off my long-dormant fire alarm reactions of crashing through the ceiling. While that might sound critical, FNF allows me to shut off my higher brain functions and groove to the mindless beats. It's like a sandwich. When your brain eats it, there's no problem. What if you want more flavor? What if you want more texture? What if you want me to stop with this metaphor? I give you... Parappa 2 may be older, but the soundtrack drops absolutely no slack. This game will soothe the eardrums. It is musical butter. It is, well, I've run out of good ways to describe it, but it's really friggin' good, man! Just trust me when I say that if you listen to this game's soundtrack, you'll be grooving. You know? Yeah, alright, sorry, I got carried away there. Parappa 2 has a soundtrack that really blurs the lines of video game soundtrack and musical album, on account of the fact that music is such a key focal point of this game. The big thing that stops this from being unintelligible magnet noise, though, they actually speak. I'm sure that's not an absurd statement to hear, but hearing the characters speak, even if it is in repeated word clusters, it helps this game to be a lot more calming music-wise. If I had to put it into food terms, FNF is like Burger King. It's not bad, no, I like Burger King, but I would pick a homemade burger any day. Yeah, get me? Yep, that's another point to Music Mud. We're 3-1 here, with 1 round left, so I don't have to go on, but I want to see if this was a close call or a complete slaughter. Let's go into the super specific bits that fit nowhere else. Parappa does have a lot more replay value, with the crowns, multiplayer, and all of these things you'd expect from a prim and proper PS2 console game. But this is also arguably invalid because a lot of these things are side effects of FNF being nowhere near finished. I mean, why else would they open a Kickstarter? Oh my god! How? How do you even get that much money? Fandom moment. Oh, fandoms! Friday Night Funkin' does have mod support, and the mods are very impressive. However, that's arguably a bit unfair to give them the point for, as that's a benefit of the console, PC, and the time, 2021, but a point it will be nonetheless. Also, its fandom is horrible, but that wasn't the reason I talked about it here. Besides, I've been in much worse fandoms. Parappa 2 has a world map, and each stage has its own little jingle. Fun fact, I almost made the world map theme my outro music before it was beaten out by the LBP2 pod theme, which is superior if you couldn't tell. Friday Night Funkin' is a lot funnier, but Parappa 2 is funny in a "oh my god, why is this suddenly a war game" sense. Both games have a 6th stage or world where the graphic quality is substantially downgraded. It's not a point, but I felt like pointing that out. So who does the bonus point go to then? I don't really think it matters, but for the record, Parappa 2 wins this point, taking us to a final score of... Sheesh! Wow, not a good score for F and F, although this isn't the end-all be-all review. If you want to counter me and make a video debunking my points, go ahead. I've got nothing going on in my life since I got put on house arrest for purging a city last month. Ah! Fire alarm! Ah! The ankle thingy!